living proof. It's pretty safe to say. God give it, God take it away. It's the worldwide American way. I'm living proof.
What's going on, team? Proof here, and today I'm coming at you with the final part of my game section of my Dust giveaway video. And so far it's been really good. I hope you guys have been enjoying the series so far. I hope you guys have been learning some stuff along with me. And before I get into the last 3 games here, the question of the day is, what got you playing Vanguard? And for me personally, as I mentioned before, I played Duel Masters, and when the game died, I started playing with some of my friends in a little online portal, and I started looking for another physical game to play. And that's when I was scrolling through an old anime site, and as I kept scrolling, I kept coming across this Card Fight Vanguard. I had no clue what it was about, and I chose to give the anime a try, and I really dug old Aichi, well, about to be maybe new Aichi again, old new Aichi. And I liked how he wasn't a protagonist in the sense that he was super powerful out the gate, and he took some L's and some losses, and you got to see his progress throughout the game, or throughout the beginning of the series. And I really enjoyed that, and I liked how the game looked, and the game felt, I don't want to say felt special, but it had a nice feel to it from what I could see. So I wanted to look and see if I could find it online, because I didn't have the means to play it physically, and I was able to stumble upon the old Beyond site, if you guys remember that. Shout out to the old Beyond crew. And I started playing there, and then I kind of found my way to finding a physical game to play, have the card shop available to me, and then the rest is history. So that's a quick snippet of my journey to finding Vanguard. So I'd love to hear everybody else's story. And that being said, I'm going ahead and hop into the games. And since we are, what's this, 13? Yeah, since we're now 13 games in, I think we have a decent idea about the flow of the deck and the functionality of the deck. So from here on, for the rest of these games, just to help them go a little bit quicker, I'm going to record them using ×3 speed on CFA as opposed to ×2. So, boom. What's this one against? Another Geese deck. I think this is a Luard Geese deck. So, as we've seen pretty fairly often throughout the series, is not to be overly aggressive, not to commit too many rear guards before you're ready. Excuse me. Because this lets them get drive checks on you without needing to give you damage for it. And another key that I found was definitely riding a 6K base helps out a lot, because then they can they can attack you unboosted basically and just get the free damage off on you, or the free check off on you. So with my hand being the way it is, and I have the opportunity to ride to grade 3 first, this is where you need to decide if you want to hold at grade 2 for a turn, or if you want to try and play for the Hellheart 8 play. And me not having a heal in my hand, an extra heal, I chose, what I do here? What would I do here? I think I would hold for a turn since I hit the heal, and I would probably go at his rear guard over here, this guy, than the main piece. That way I can give myself an extra opportunity to, I don't know why I did this. I don't know why I did this here. I don't really agree with this line of play here, because he could easily just attack my rear guard and get a damage check off on me, or a drive check off. So I let that die, so then I would take this hit freely. Right, pitch that. I think I was setting up for Dust at this point, because I'm missing a piece for Hellheart 8. So I use this to get a heal. And then I'm fairly certain that I use Mecha Trainer to get a Hey, what? What happened there? Looks like I pitched that. I have no clue what happened there. I can't rewind it back either, but that's okay. So yeah, definitely setting up for Dust here. And then likely I'm gonna go into Dust, use Mecha Trainer to grab myself my my Frog Raider. And then it lets me set up the whole sequence, or enough to make it. So Acrobat's gonna die. Yeah, I let him know he had to finish up Drag Abyss first, and then he can use a Belial Owl. Belial? Yeah, I think it's Belial Owl. So what I'm planning on doing here is just to not die, which isn't as likely here because I have decent shield here. Cause I have a PG. I got the G guard here to be able to help out, and then I have Stand Trigger Mecha Instructor here, which doesn't have much use in my hand. How many have I seen? I'm down 3, so hopefully I don't lose the last one before I'm able to use it. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to guard and then use Gates to put it back, which is, it's okay, but it's not super efficient for us. I think I took this one. It'd be better to take this one. Okay. So that's my 3rd great star, but thankfully because of the instructor play, it's okay to have this in my hand. I wish there was a way for me to call out great star and blackguard and use them together, and then bind instructor. That would cause me to have to tweak up my deck, and it wouldn't be a good ride there. So pitch this guy here, going to Dust Boy. Put his man to 4 damage and put him to 1 power, both of these guys. And then for max efficiency here, I use Mecha Trainer, at least I hope that's what I did, use Mecha Trainer to find my piece, my Frog Raider, and then call Tier, because then I can get the full benefit of the counter charge. Or I could use Great Star to call out my other, nah, it would have been better to get, use Mecha Trainer here. Oh no. Interesting. I think I was trying to do something here. Oh, I see what I did. This way the frog comes out with extra power. Okay, I can kind of get behind that play. Because then I still get the same benefit off of the instructor loop. Yeah, then that just took a card out of my hand. No, not really, because then I still ended up with 5 in my hand for the whole loop. That's not that bad, actually. I need to remember that, make use of the extra instructors in my hand. Because I could still get the extra attack off, and then I could put instructor back, bind star, call it back, set up the loop. And if you guys remember my little instructor loop math, it's the number of open counter blasts after you do all your calls with your Vanguard attack. Multiply that times 2, and then you add 1. So 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, which means you need to have 5 cards in your hand after you start the loop with instructor to be able to call star, call instructor, and then do the whole sequence again, and then have 1 more card left over for great star to attack once more. So that actually wasn't that bad. I could support that play. I need to store that in my playbook Rolodex for later. But cut that one for a W, and then I'm gonna fade out this one and come back. All right, second game for today. This one is against a Sheer Nui deck, Nubatama, and if we recall, last time we ran into Nubatama, we got destroyed by Reen doing this thing. But since then, I kind of got some tips from my boy Jakido on my Discord server. Gave me some tips and some plays that I could use, which hopefully they came into play throughout the course of my future games against Nubatama. So I took a more aggressive approach here because, oh, look at that, the hand shuffle, not bad. Yeah, I took a more aggressive approach here to get the jump on them, so that way, even if they do start to hold dominate stuff, and I get the ride up first, I can probably set up for dust if I had it. Then that way I can survive the first ring calls and then be able to go into dust from there. I hate that draw trigger, he always comes up. And that's one of the beauties of lyre lifts, in my opinion, is being able to let my Vanguard attack for 16,000 and get the drawback and put damage on my opponent at the same time. It all comes in handy. So he goes Rain here. He's gonna rip 2 cards out of my hand. And to me, since I'm at 2 damage, the most expendable pieces in my hand, in my opinion, were the 2 Mecha Instructors, because they can't touch Vanguard because he's not at GB3 yet, thankfully. So I put them in the back because they can still be useful for me later. And my thinking was that I wanted to G-Guard so I can have access to full power Agrius, and I can go into Rack Tomb to try to dig for another G-Guard, because if I got it, I could have went into Dust from here. Ouch. Close. I was close to getting another heal trigger. And actually hitting that heal kind of hurt me in the context of the play that I was thinking about, because just another counterblast would have been handy. But I went to Agrius here, and I had Great Star, and I had another Great Star. And what I was thinking of doing was attack here, and then bind it all, and then potentially call back a Frog Raider. But then I remember that the G-Guard dominates grade 1 or grade 1 units. So I didn't want to put that as an option for him to grab it. So I bind everything, call back everything. I think I charged them all. I wish Great Star got power regardless. I wish he didn't have to call to get the power, because that would have been really handy. But I give it all over there. Attack this side first. That way I can, it's the lesser power attack. And then I go into an instructor loop with just the columns in and of themselves, as opposed to having a frog side, because it locks off the G-Guard because you can't use it, because as I mentioned, it only targets grade 1 units, which something I didn't know before, or something I didn't remember. I always assumed it was grade 1 or less, not strictly grade 1s. But this side here has two crit, and if Great Star got his power from charging, this could have been 23, which would have hit for 15k shield, which would have been good. But my opponent, seeing what was about to happen, dipped. He just forfeited. But what was going to happen was I was going to repeat the loop here, and then make this 18,000, make this 18,000 again, and then unless he hit a trigger here, I would have had 2 more 14k or 2 more 11,000 attacks to be able to use at the end. And this side, which forced that out, this attack would have forced out the G-Guard or 10k in the intercept, and then it would have been bound again. I would have been out of damage. But then this side would have been 18 again, which would have forced the G-Guard, or he would have to take the damage and hope for a damage trigger, and then repeat here again, and then they both would have been bound by instructor again, and then they would both would have been 11k. And unless he hit the trigger, they still would have been able to touch. And so unless he hit a 6 damage heal, a lot of contingencies here, but the plan of action was to try to get through all of what he had left, which was possible, minus the trigger check, and then be able to win before GB3 Rain could come down and dominate me. It just ruined my existence. But that's the second game. I got the W, and being able to use some of the stuff that I learned from my previous encounter came up or helped me out here. Like being aggressive while going first meant that Shiranui couldn't touch me because he got rid of the unit here, and even if he did, it would have been a 9k, because this guy, I think this is GB1, so he wouldn't able to be able to use it on ride anyhow. So just a couple things just to remember for me, which has been really helpful. And I'm gonna fade this one out, come back with the very last game of this series here, and I'll be right back. All right, final game here, going against Aquaforce Thavas, because of Mitros, I think it was Mitros, the American version. And having a 10k here is super helpful against Aquaforce, and I'm glad I was able to draw into it. And my what's the term, methodology against Aquaforce is to get the jump on them and be aggressive to them back, which is why I made the plays that I did. being aggressive on attacking the Vanguard, because Agrius, maybe a potential Picaro play, especially going first. Both of those are really good at putting the pressure on the Aquaforce player to be able to survive, be able to hit them back on the, or win on the swing back. Excuse me. So my thinking was potentially setting up for first try, actually no, not first try, Dust. First try Picaro play, because I have one heal and I have another one. So I could have set up for the first try Picaro play, which is, I don't think I've demonstrated that one yet. I can't remember. But the instructor loop does really well with Picaro, and being able to set it up with a Frog Raider on board meant that I'd be able to call 4 units out. And knowing that he's on old Thavas here, the one that retires on the attack, I chose to Dismal this frog here and protect it so it couldn't be chosen from Thavas here, because he likely would have gotten rid of this guy here, or I figured he would get rid of this one on an attack, and that forced me to choose Frog Raider to get retired off of Thavas skill. It's not bad, not bad. 21k Vanguard. But he's about to get some draws. Some nice draws at that. Retire one. This girl couldn't hit, but I needed to get to doing this put me in a position where if I drew into Rise and Nova, I can go into Dust, or I have the Picaro play set up. So it kind of did a twofold operation for me. Since I didn't draw into the Rise and Nova, I went into Dust here. And in my eyes here, I made a misplay, because what I did was I thought about using the Schemer here to power up one of the Frog Raiders to 10,000, which would have been good for the instructor loop to be able to call a body here, call Star here, and attack for 21,000 over and over again, which is what I should have done. And then I could have powered up this Frog Raider here, and that's when you set up the formation here, as I did with Blackguard over here, because when I call, Star would be over top of the 10, whichever one you gave the 10,000 to, the Schemer to, and then you would call Instructor to the side that you gave the Cunning Brain power to. So then you'd have continuous 21k and then 16k going back and forth on the opponent, depending on your counter blast in your hand. Unfortunately, I don't have 11 cards in my hand. So this is where you would use Blackguard a couple times for power, and then you go into the instructor loop from there. So in my opinion, I could have played this out better by powering up. This one here should have been 21k, and then this one here would have been powered up 21k as well because of the trigger power. So just tagging back and forth 21k columns would have been very nice in the context of his Vanguard being 16,000. So then I had to get inventive with my attacks here by charging charging Great Star multiple times. So that way I put him in a position where he had to use his big G guards to be able to stop me from attacking him. So every card counts in spikes, but you also need to remember how to best utilize your cards to be able to put that pressure on your opponent. And just having that, using that extra Schemer would have gone a long way for my attack combos, I should say. But this is 31 again, and he had to use the whole team. And this being 21 was just enough to hit over the fact that he only had 5k left in his hand. So I got bailed out by his hand being clogged with 3s, but that didn't have to happen as long as I thought a little bit further ahead to be able to set up for the Black Star, the instructor loop. So that'll do it for the games here. Overall, went 13-2, which is really strong performance, and it definitely gave me a lot more comfort over the build. And that'll do it for the gameplay portion of the series. I'm gonna come back with you tomorrow and then we're gonna just break down the little my deck tracker chart that I put together. So until then, I'll see you guys later. Peace. Be easy.